I see. I got my hair cut. I don't love it.
Can you take your headphones off so I can look at it? Did a lot of chop chop. I like it.
She said my hair was built for this haircut.
Can't argue with that.
That's what I'm saying. So now I'm stuck with it.
Forever. This is your personality now.
Yeah.
Where did you get it done? Like a real place or like a Supercuts?
Le Pomponier.
Le Pomponneux.
Mm-hmm.
It was a pretty nice place. Cody used to get his haircut there because he was a fancy boy. Do they give you a robe? Is there champagne?
No. There's wine, though. They offer you wine. I never take it.
Who wants to drink wine while you're getting a haircut? You know what's going to get in your wine? Hair bits.
Great point. Also, I often go at 9 a.m. They're like, do you want anything?
And they're still like, would you like a Riesling? And you're like, no, I think I'm good.
Hey, everybody. I'm Katie.
I'm Becky, and this is Live, Laugh, Lorcana. How you doing, girl?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Hanging in there. Hanging in there.
Okay. So news. I don't know if we're a news covering podcast, but so far we have been. But Ravensburger announced that Disney Lorcana will be available in 10 more regions, starting from the third expansion.
Whoop, whoop.
For Spain, Portugal, Sweden, Norway, Finland, Denmark, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Poland, and Mexico. Good for them.
I love that. That's really exciting.
And we got 5 new cards.
Did we, though?
Well, they weren't in our Discord, but, we got them eventually. The first one is Improvise, and probably the one we need to talk most about, because this is the one with Mulan and the fan.
Love it. Ice cream sandwich. That's what everyone's saying. Which, you know what? As soon as somebody said it, I'm like, yeah, that does look like an ice cream sandwich.
And I'll never unsee it. But you made the great point that you used to act this out as a child, so.
Of course I did. All the time. The first time I was given a paper fan, I took a knife right through the center, flip, turn. Not quite. 100%. Destroyed it immediately.
Couldn't do it again after that.
There was more places to shove holes, but,
That's hilarious.
What else we got?
We got that green beast that everyone thinks is busted, because whenever an opposing character is damaged, you may ready this character.
So spicy.
We got Fang Crossbow, Last Stand, and Merlin. Anything you're particularly excited about?
I like the Merlin. You draw a card when he hops in. You draw a card when he hops out. I think that's cute and fun.
It is cute, and it's going to be great in my rabbit theme deck.
Do you have a rabbit theme deck?
Well, now that I have more rabbits to build around, yeah.
What other rabbits are you building around?
Well, I'm going to count the Pocket Watch, because that's White Rabbit's Pocket Watch.
Legitimate.
Jedi Geek Girl and Erilyn were listing all the rabbits in the Disneyverse in our Discord.
There's a lot.
I'm like, that's a lot of rabbits. So this is going to happen eventually.
It might take a while. Let's be honest.
Fair.
Not like an imminent idea, but I love it. Great.
Okay, and then Sky from Project Inklore reached out to us via DM.
Did he really?
Yeah, did you not see it?
I don't really check our DMs. Did he tell us we were wrong and stupid and bad?
He did. No. Listen, if in your life you ever do anything wrong, hope that Sky is the person who tells you. Because he reached out to us, so nice. He was like, I love your podcast. It's so good. I love that you talked about Project Inklore. I was so excited and flattered. I think I messed up because I didn't communicate our project goals clearly enough. So if you ever have any questions about that, you let me know. So I was like,
so kindly told us to get our facts straight. I love it.
So I'm
gonna access the DM right now so I can follow along.
He was so incredibly nice about it, and he was just like, just so you know, I have the correct info if you want it. And I was like, yes, please, Sky, give me the correct info. And he did.
Oh, I feel bad that the video I watched about it was not made by Sky. Go ahead, Katie, clarify. I don't know. I feel really bad about it.
Don't, because Sky was super nice. Also, here's a pro tip for everyone out there. If you want the inside scoop directly from the source, just start putting out misinformation.
They will contact
They
you
will
and
come
let
to
you
you.
know.
Okay. Project Inklore is not meant to be a Pixelborn replacement. It's supposed to offer an accessible way for people to play and host tournaments. So, like, you've played Pixelborn, right? And it enforces all the rules for you. And you can pretty much only go forward automatically. Project Inklore is not going to be like that. You're going to have to go through all the motions and you're going to have to enforce your own card effects. So Project Inklore is going to be more like playing in real life, and it will allow for rewinds if necessary. It's going to have special features for judges and commentators. And there are features in the works that will help you find matches, but the idea is more about community building instead of like the silent random matchmaking of Pixelborn. It's more like you'll be reaching out to people to organize games.
Beautiful.
So thanks very much to Sky for all that additional detail. We really appreciate it.
I love that. You know what I learned, Katie?
Tell me.
You cannot rely on me to do anything. We should just give that up right now. Give up Becky doing research because she can't do it. She can't handle it.
I think you've made a really good try. We went to a new league this week.
We did.
It was very different. Did you feel that?
Yes. Oh my God. They also had what games were playing as well as Lorcana?
I don't know.
I think the Digimon and One Piece were also being played. And there was just like not enough room for everybody.
Mm-mm.
And the tables were very close together. What did you think of that league, Katie?
So it was small for one. It was small. This is a place that they had 2 big starter deck tournaments. They gave out 64 starter decks and then radio silence for 4 weeks. They didn't have league. They didn't want to start it up yet. Then they started up and they post on Facebook that league's starting up and everyone's like, "Oh, I'd love to go. Do you guys have starter decks?" And they're like, "No." They gave out their 64 starter decks. And then there's only 8 people at their first league. So it's like the starter decks didn't go to the right people. And that's unfortunate.
Definitely. There were 16 people on Saturday when we went.
Mm-hmm. And I would say it was all much more the stereotypical TCG crowd. Most of those guys competitively played another game, and the only women there were us and our 2 friends.
Yes. And what happened to the 4 of us, Katie?
Oh, God, I can't even talk about this.
Go ahead, tell them.
No, you tell. I can't say it.
Okay, fine. So, we did the first 2 rounds, and then they did kind of like that. What is it called?
I think it's just Swiss rounds where you get paired with people that have like the
similar record.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So somehow it ended up that the 4 bottom people who had no wins were us 4 girls. And I mean, that's expected from me, but I expect better from the rest of you. That's all I have to say.
Okay, I shouldn't have to defend myself. Okay? I'm allowed to be bad if I want to be bad. I have been taking the same deck to League for a month. I haven't touched it in a month. It does fine there. It does about 2-1 there. The game, I'm not like completely stomping on anyone. It is the right strength level for that league. So I took it to this league thinking like, oh, this is a perfect league level deck. But like all of these guys had like more competitive meta decks.
What's your league deck?
It's Amber Sapphire, but it's not optimized at all.
I also played a suboptimal Amber Sapphire. Oh, interesting thing happened though. I was playing against your husband and Joshua beat me real good. But then we played again and I beat Joshua. And I just feel like that's a little sus.
Do you want me to comment on that or not?
Please.
Because I asked him and he told me not to tell you. But you know how we talk about making suboptimal plays at the beginning? He made a bunch of suboptimal plays in the beginning against you. And you know, with this game, sometimes things snowball out of control. And he's like at the end, he genuinely couldn't have won, but he definitely was not doing his best.
See, no, stop. I am going to talk. Remember how we talked previously about like you don't owe anybody a win? I'm like, do not humor me. Katie, it's Josh. I know in no universe, no matter whose deck is whose, I can't beat Josh. Like, it's not going to happen. So, me beating Josh just makes me feel stupid. Like, you know? Don't tell me.
That's very interesting. Why does it make you feel stupid? Do you feel it's patronizing that he let you win?
Yeah, because there's no reason for it. I don't care. I don't expect to beat him. And I am a good loser. We've seen it 1,000 times.
He wanted you to be excited and confident.
And also, may I add, he didn't let me win something worth stickers. He just like the throwaway game. Like,
Exactly.
thanks. This is really great. No, it was stupid. I didn't want it. Nobody asked for it. Don't let me win. I don't need it.
That's an interesting take. Yes.
What if he played you and pretend you play Josh and he did suboptimal plays at the beginning?
Oh, I'd be mad. I'd be
Right?
so mad. Don't
Would you
you
feel good about that win,
dare.
Katie?
No, I never want anyone to play suboptimally against me. Never.
So why are you surprised by my take?
Because I know I'm competitive and I don't know that about you.
I'm not competitive, which is why you don't have to let me win
Which is why it's extra stupid.
for you to bother.
Can we go back to the losers table? Because how did you feel about the fact that all the women were at the
Okay,
bottom?
that I did not like. But again, I deserve to be there. You know, that's where I belong. My deck sucks. I'm not good at playing. I should be down there. But I know you're really good and you have cards and you do very well. And like Amber consistently beats me and so does Jen. So like, you know,
You guys should have stepped it up.
not me. I don't have any stepping to do.
No, I had the wrong deck for that day. But now that I know it's like all competitive TCG dudes, and that last time all the women were at the bottom, I'm gonna be out for blood at the next time I go to that league.
That's great. My husband was able to come.
What did he think? I really wanted to know. This was his first league.
It was. He went 1 and 2 and thought it was fine.
Another note about this league, no stickers.
No stickers.
They just said, we're going to take care of your wins and losses. We'll keep track of all of them and give you guys prizes at the end of the session.
Why did I even wear a Disney shirt?
That's what I'm screaming.
So explain that to me.
I don't have an answer, but I will tell you about the competitive Magic guys at this event because I played 2. Okay.
Mhm.
Played 1, wonderful experience. We played 2 games, really fun. We were like chatting after about the prices of singles. We were chatting about our favorite spoilers from chapter 2. Like, not once did he talk down to me or assume I didn't know anything. Like, 10 out of 10, would play again. All right, I played another guy, another competitive Magic guy, the worst mansplaining, where he was explaining the most basic TCG concepts to me from the very ground up. And I'm like, oh, you're talking about this? Like, I get it. Like, I know. So when someone's like mansplaining to me, sometimes I'll try to like drop some hints, like I know what I'm talking about. So I like mentioned like some meta analysis like I had watched on YouTube. And he's like, the thing you need to understand about Lorcana content creators is that most of them didn't competitively play another game, so they don't really know what they're talking about. I didn't even realize how funny that was until I was typing up my notes for the show. Like, that's so funny. He was mansplaining Lorcana content creation to me.
I love that. That's iconic. Does he know you're a content creator?
I don't think so.
Hilarious. That's crazy. That's fun for you. Well, no, it's not. But I'm sorry that that happened.
Yeah, at that point, it's just like, okay, I'm going to go report our results. Like, we're done with this conversation.
Bye.
But since I did say the word mansplaining, I do want to note that I've seen a lot of confusion about what mansplaining is. Becky, do you want to define it for the men who don't know if they're mansplaining or explaining?
Mansplaining is explaining, but with a spicy little twist because you're explaining the concept of something to somebody and the intent behind it is that you feel you need to explain it because the person you are explaining it to is not a man.
Yeah, spot on. And I like it's happened to me more in a month of Lorcana than a year in Flesh and Blood. And I feel like that's because there's kind of just this common theme where there are women who are playing this as their first TCG. So like some people are just really painting with a broad brush and it's like, oh, woman, she needs to be told how to play a TCG. So just like talk, just be like, hey, how long have you been playing Lorcana? Like, what kind of decks have you tried? Like, just you can tell real quick if they need your help or not.
Yeah, because I feel like my answer to that question would be very different than yours.
Yeah, there is a. I think some people on our Discord noted there's usually a tone of condescension, like almost like the guy who's talking to me was kind of like talking to me like I was a child, a little bit like you'd explain something to a child. So if you find yourself doing that, you might be mansplaining.
Heck, you'll still.
Yeah, yeah, but
But there is that kind of like that flow chart of like, I'm going to explain the rules to this person. And then it's like, why am I explaining the rules to this person? It's like, oh, they're a new player. Are they a new player or do you think they're a new player? Oh, I think they're a new player. Why do you think they're a new player? Because woman. That's the flow chart.
oh man, we need a graphic for that.
Yeah.
Well, this was our new league. Now we can talk about our regular league that
Our
we go to.
regularly scheduled league. We love our regularly scheduled league. I played 3 games. I lost 2 of them. I went 1-2, which is pretty good. And I got the very special experience of playing against 2 Ruby Amethyst control decks. And the first game I played was against a Ruby Amethyst control deck, and I won. But it just really came down to like his draws were really bad and my draws were really good. So then, second match, I'm playing another Ruby Amethyst control, and I get beat pretty good. I think I held my own though. I mean, like the final score, like I had 5-20, but with that deck, like my lore just kept getting like chipped down as things go on.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was like a pretty interesting match. And the guy I played was, giving me suggestions but not in like an annoying way because like I know him, so it didn't feel like crappy. And I felt kind of like I'm one of the guys. And he recommended like a couple cards I should get for my deck that would really make a big difference. And he also told me I had a mid-range deck. And that I liked. It's like it's like when you take a BuzzFeed quiz or like your astrological sign and you like find out what you are and you're like, "Oh my god, that is what I am."
I so am a mid-range player. Wow.
I know, honestly though. And I was like, "Wow, you were good. Just from that one game you knew." I love that. Like, go me. I'm just a mid-range gal. But I didn't do particularly well in that. But that's okay because it was a fine game. And according to him, a couple more let it goes would really, really punch everything up a bit. Okay, I have to do like something. There's too many just random guys. Okay, so guy A, I played guy A, okay? And guy B is sitting next to me, and guy A and B are friends. So guy A comes over, and I was like, oh, hey. And guy B's like, oh, you two played, right? And I'm like, yeah. And so guy B asks guy A, like, how much did you beat her by? And I gave him like a stag face because, like, what does that mean? And the guy was just like, saw that I was giving him like a like, what is wrong with you face? And he's like, oh, I mean, it's nothing personal. Guy A here just like does a really good deck. And I don't know. I felt weird about it. I found it kind of annoying that I was dismissed like that, and they were kind of joking that like the guy beat me by like 30 points, or whatever. And I was like, all right.
You seem pretty upset after it, to be honest.
This is the first time this has ever happened to me. And it wasn't even that bad. Like, it wasn't bad, but I felt kind of silly because I had just played against guy A and I thought we had like a really nice game. And like, again, him talking to me and stuff, I felt like we were on the same team and like exchanging information and like he was invested in my success and so just like his buddy being like, oh, trounce that stupid girl, huh? That's not what he said, but I felt it implied.
I mean, it kind of is implied, right? Because he came over and knowing nothing about you except that you are a girl.
Yeah, I don't know if he would have done that if I was a boy, a man.
That's fair.
But I am inclined to say he would not have. But I
Probably
can't
not.
judge his intent because I don't know him at all.
Well, Guy B, Josh played him earlier in the evening and beat him and has offered to train you to beat him if you want.
But I totally get after that guy said that thing where it's just like, how delicious would it have been for me to be like, oh, actually, I won? Like, how good would that have felt?
So good. But I think your friend Tooney actually said it best when it's like you shouldn't have to be good to be treated like any other player. So, okay. So here is a listener question. This is from the Legend of Zenga, who does a parent's guide to Lorcana YouTube channel. On the days that you lack motivation to leave the house, what gets you to the LGS? The games, the friends, the league points? What is your motivation?
You know what my motivation is, Katie? Guilt.
Guilt?
It is the driving force of my life. And I need to drive 45 minutes to the league because you're going to be there. And it's for the pod.
Is the pod your motivation? You're like, I can't go to the pod and not even have league to talk about.
Right? The bare minimum I can contribute is going to league.
Oh, that's so funny.
What's your motivation?
It's hard for me. I'm gonna be honest, it's really hard for me, especially in winter when it starts to get dark early. I always would rather stay home. I would always rather be in my house. I'm an introvert. For me, it's just like exercise, to be honest. Like, I don't want to do it, but I know I'll feel better after I do it. I know my life is better for doing it, so I'm just going to make myself do it. I'm type A, so that's enough for me. It's not inspirational, but
yeah, mine's not either. I have an obligation to go. I do, but you're so right. I'm the same with like my therapy and things like that. Like I don't want to do it, but I feel really good after I do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Jedi Geek Girl, who is the source of all of our ideas, pitched a great idea for us to talk about playing Lorcana with kids, and I have no children.
I have 2 children that don't play Lorcana because they're very small.
So we reached out to Rebekah of Lorcana Illuminary.
Do you think that we should be paying Jedi Geek Girl some sort of finder's fee for her ideas?
Probably, but maybe she'll accept payment in blizzards.
Oh, we could send her merch if we ever make merch.
Mm-hmm. Stickers are imminent.
Yeah, I'm working on the stickers as we speak. Glitter or no glitter? Tell us in the comments.
This is going to be a poll, and that will be our decision.
Glitter or no glitter on the stickers? I like glitter. Does everybody like glitter? I don't know. Are we glitter people? We're not that, dazzly.
Mm-hmm.
But it is an option. So right off the shoot from the hip right now, Katie. Glitter or no glitter? What's your instinct?
My instinct is no.
Okay. Well, you're also no fun. So we have a special guest today. Rebekah from Lorcana Illuminary is joining us to talk about kids, Lorcana, and kids in Lorcana. So we'll dive right in.
Do.
Yeah, you got to do that. Do. We are joined with Rebekah.
That's me. Hi.
From Lorcana Illuminary. We absolutely love your Instagram account. It's awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad that I was able to connect with you guys.
Yeah, it was so exciting to find you, and it's been like so great that you like joined our Discord and are like hanging out in there.
Oh yeah, you guys have created such a cool community there. Like I love it. I love it. And Discord is like super overwhelming in some spaces, but your guys' community is awesome.
Oh, you're so sweet. It's people like you that make it so great.
Yeah. The vibe is awesome in there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so we like have a lot of questions for you, but my like big, because we never really talked that much before. Like, I'm so curious, like, how did you get into Lorcana?
So I used to play Magic a lot when I was growing up, actually. So, like, as a teenager myself, actually, I was thinking about this today and I was like, I think my parents were probably the same age that I am now when Magic came out and I started playing Magic as a teenager. And I played for years, but just like super casually and like with friends and stuff. And then it kind of like went by the wayside. And then when my son got old enough, I taught him how to play Magic. And he was like kind of into it. He had a lot of fun, but wasn't like real serious about it. And then I found out about Lorcana, recently. I kind of missed like the first like D23 stuff that came. And but then when like the big September 1st release came a couple weeks, I started hearing about it. And I was like, wait, what? There's a Disney card game? Like, tell me more. And I just like dove in like head first. I was like, yes, this is everything that I loved about playing Magic. But for me, I'm like, I love it even more because it's Disney and I'm a huge Disney fan. So my sister also actually has gotten into it too. So that's been fun to play and teaching my kids, which I know we're going to talk a lot about today. So it's just been super fun and sharing it with friends and family and all that. So that's how I got into it.
Oh, that's awesome. How old are your kids?
They are 14 and 10. So like, right, I feel like in that prime like age to learn a game like this.
Yeah, definitely. How did they get into it? Just through you?
Yeah. So my son, who's 14, he's a freshman in high school. Like I said, he had learned how to play Magic. And so for him, it was so natural to pick up. And like I was showing him stuff, online before we got cards in hand, which we had to wait a while because it's crazy out there. And we just picked it up, the 2 starter decks and started playing. And he caught on so quickly and was super into it. And he like is so familiar with all the characters too. So that made it even easier for him to learn how to play because he was like, oh yeah, Simba and Aladdin and Jasmine, like all the characters. My daughter, who's 10, she was like iffy about it at first. She was like, I don't know about this. Like she was interested in the cards, but the actual playing of it, she was like unsure about it. But we started playing together very slowly, and my son helped her learn a little bit, which was interesting sibling interaction with him kind of teaching her how to play. And now she enjoys it, and she kind of is a little quieter, not as competitive as my son. So the personalities are definitely coming out, but just, me teaching them how to play, and it's been a fun new family activity. My husband, not so much.
I was going to ask if your husband's playing too.
Yeah. I got him to play one game with me finally. So he likes playing like Zelda and video games and stuff. And I taught him how to play Magic too. And he was not so interested. And so I was like, you got to play at least one game of Lorcana. And after he actually beat me, he won in the one game that we played. And then he sent me a text later and was like, I just want to thank thank the community for their support. And I'm going to leave with my perfect record and retire from Lorcana playing.
Perfect.
So funny. Do you think he'll play again though?
I don't know. I feel like maybe if we get together with family and do some like fun multiplayer games, I think that he would enjoy that a little bit more. Yeah. But like any kind of competitive or one-on-one, he's like, meh.
Yeah.
Totally fair. One thing I wanted to ask both of you, since you both have kids, like officially Lorcana is like 8 and up. Does that sound like about right to you? Would you teach someone younger? What do you think?
So my kids are way younger than that. I have 2 under 2, but I have a niece who's 6 and another niece who's like 11. And I definitely feel like the 6-year-old, like, not going to be there. I don't see it. I feel like 8's fairly reasonable. I feel like Pokemon came out when I was 8 and I played with it. I don't think I was like good or anything, but like being able to understand the rules of the game, I feel like 8's reasonable.
Yeah, 8 feels like a good, like for like some simple play, like maybe like not worry about any kind of like combos and strategy and everything, but just like very simple play. An 8-year-old, my niece is 8. And my daughter's 10. And my daughter, she picked it up pretty quickly. The older kids, for sure. I think also being able to read is really helpful for the kids. Like even if it takes them a little bit to like read it, and like for the abilities to like register of what they can and can't do, it's like, that's fine, and they'll learn. But for the kids who can't read yet, then it would be really difficult.
Definitely.
8 and up feels right.
You said your niece is 8. Has she tried it?
She hasn't yet. So we actually were at their house last night, and she was watching us all play, and she was like checking out the cards. My daughter was playing my sister. And so since she saw her cousin, I think she's going to want to learn how to play. But they're totally into like the cards and stuff. And I think they want to try to like collect them. Like that's actually, and I think for younger kids who aren't playing the game, collecting is a great way to get them interested in Lorcana, to just like find their favorite characters. Or I've seen families that take their cards to the parks and like get the characters to sign them, which I think is so adorable, like super fun. So there's ways that you can have the younger kids, get interested in Lorcana, even if it's not necessarily playing the game yet.
That's like such a great idea. I'm just like imagining an autograph book with like all of the cards.
So cute.
Right? So cute.
My toddler, he's familiar with Mickey Mouse and, like the Sensational Six, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, that kind of stuff. So he has his own like little deck of just some cast offs of characters that he can recognize and stuff. And he's still at that stage where he's, he likes to just like put things in a box and take them out and put them back in. And so that's where we're at with him, which is very cute.
That's very adorable. I love that. And I feel like the younger kids have like their favorite characters too. So like you said, like with Mickey and Minnie or whoever it is, I have a younger niece too, and she likes to look at the cards as well. And it's like they identify with those characters and love it. So it's fun just to have them.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like that a lot of the time. Just I like to look at them, just to have them. I don't know. It's nice to flip through.
It's true. Especially all the foils, honestly. I'm like, ooh, wow, look at fancy Minnie. She's all shiny.
Great. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, so you have now taught several kids to play Lorcana. Do you have any general tips for teaching kids to play Lorcana? And then Jedi Geek Girl actually asked if you have any tricks that you would recommend to parents whose kids may have challenges staying engaged with games.
Yes. I mean, as far as just teaching any kid, it's kind of the same as just teaching a new player in general, right? Like break it down into its most simplest, basic, rules and the types of cards. I think that having a focus even on just like the really simple cards for characters that don't have any extra abilities at first can maybe be helpful, especially for the kids that are a little bit on the younger side. But also, I was really surprised at how quickly they picked up the game. Like kids are smarter than you think they are. Like they'll pick it up so fast, and they'll like even like learn combos and stuff. And like my son, he's 14, so he like picked up on all the intricacies of it very quickly. But just start slow and break it down into simple things and focus on just gameplay, not strategy with kids, I think is, like I said, same thing that you would do for any brand new player to the game. As far as engagement, because my daughter actually can get a little antsy and like want to like get up and dance around the table if things are taking too long, and I think one thing for me is just staying really engaged with her, like conversation, like, oh, you just played so and just having it be real like conversational while you're playing, and like, oh, I can't believe you challenged this character, and just making it more like fun, like a game, instead of, I think adults can kind of just get real quiet and they're doing their thing and I'm doing this and that. And for kids, that's not really going to keep them engaged. And so just making it a little more exciting, I think will help. And also, if you have kids that are a little antsy, like maybe just play a game to 10 instead of 20, so that it's not going to take forever. And if they want to play again, great. And if not, then fine, we'll play again tomorrow if you want to. So just kind of knowing the kid, I think, and what their attention span is really just pay attention to that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, let's just play to 10 so it doesn't, go too long is fine.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Really good advice. I love that. Yeah. Do your kids go to a league? Do you go to a league?
I do. I have so much fun. So we have a few local stores actually that do some league play. And so we have one that's close to our house. And my son comes with me every single week. And he loves it. He loves it. He gets a little competitive too. I think that's just like naturally his personality. And I asked my daughter if she wanted to go, and she was like, no. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I did take her to the store, because most of the hobby stores, they have like just open play space where you can go in and play games, that aren't part of their events. And so we just went and played. Have met some other people there, even another person who plays at the league. His daughter, who's 10, actually does go to the league every week. She does. And so my daughter and her, like, they played together. And for my daughter, she kind of likes that quieter play time, like at home with family or just with a couple other people. But she was not interested in going to like a big, like, league with a bunch of adults that she didn't know, that like for her, that was going to be like so overwhelming. And so I think for parents who are looking to take their kids to league play, like just knowing your kid and, how comfortable they would be in that space. But definitely go to, like, if you have a store that's hosting league, go ahead of time. So at least they're comfortable, like in the atmosphere, like the environment, that it's like, they can get introduced to the space before it's like filled with a bunch of people. But my son loves it. He wants to go every week. And if we miss it, he's real bummed.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that. I love that. I can see me being a 10-year-old being like, I don't know about this, guys, like playing against adults and like not really feeling comfortable. So I totally get that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But there's a girl who's she's 10, same age as my daughter, and she comes with her dad every week, and she loves it too. So it really like just depends on the personality, right, of the kid. So
yeah, we have a couple kids in our league. Katie, do you have any idea how old those kids are?
Oh my gosh, I'm the worst person to ask. I'd say maybe 10.
I would say more like 12 probably.
Okay.
I think they're a little older. Yeah, but they're nice kids, and they seem to have a good time because they're there every week.
I also wonder too, like, for my daughter, like with it being like a boy versus a girl, because it is a lot of adult men,
Yes.
that are there. And so for my son, I think he's just kind of like, oh, it's like cool for him to like hang out with these older guys. But for a girl, like a 10-year-old girl, maybe not so much, like,
yeah. I know our league organizer, he also runs Pokemon leagues, and they do like a children's league.
Oh, yeah.
Which I hope that they'll be able to get enough interest to be able to do that with Lorcana as well, because I think that would be so much fun.
I would love to see something like that. Or even like specifically having like multiplayer where you could do, I know some people have done like teams, like where you have 2 and 2 multiplayer. So you could like come like a parent with their kid on a team together, against 2 other people, that would be fun.
Yeah, that would be so much fun. And definitely, again, if I'm imagining myself as the 10-year-old, like I'd be much more comfortable with like an adult that I know with me. So that would be really cool. I hope we see stuff like that.
I hope so too. I think they will, especially hopefully as more cards become, more product is available. I think you're going to see a lot more families and kids who are jumping into the game. And so to have stores that are creating space for those families and kids to come play, I think it's going to be really, really good.
Yeah, definitely. Did you take anything specific into account when taking your kids to league, or?
Not really.
Have you been to any leagues that you went in and were kind of like not here, or?
Okay, so even though I used to play Magic and whatever, like I was always just with my friends. So Lorcana is actually the very first league I've ever been a part of ever for a trading card game. But when I went around to some different stores to buy or to try and buy Lorcana, I don't know, you kind of just get a little bit of the vibe of the store when you walk in. And so there were some that I was like, I don't know if I'm going to come back here for their league play kind of thing. And the store that we've been going to, it's like such a cool, chill vibe, and everyone there has been really great. So I feel totally comfortable taking my kids there.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And they have snacks.
Oh, what kind of snacks?
They have like a whole case of like sodas and juice and like candy and stuff like that. So, and chips. So,
That's awesome.
The kids love the snacks.
That's a selling point for kids for sure.
Right. Yes.
Is it like a very competitive atmosphere where you are? Or is it more casual?
It is a little bit more competitive. And so I think for parents who are looking to take their kids and knowing your kid and their personality, that's definitely something to take into consideration. Our league is it's like a 3-round Swiss best of 3. So it's a long night. It's like 3 hours because they're 50-minute rounds. And we do have some folks there that are really competitive and have some great decks. But my son, we also probably half the people there are more casual, so even though it does have some competitive players, there's a lot of Disney fans. There's a lot of people who I think are new to trading card games, and this is their first one ever. Like I said, a couple kids. So it's a really mixed group, which I think is really fun. But it is a little bit more on the competitive side than casual. So again, with kids, you kind of have to know how your kid would feel about that kind of format when deciding to go.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting.
Yeah. What about your guys' league is more casual, right?
Yes. The league we frequent is best of 1, 3 rounds. So it's only like an hour and a half and pretty chill. And then you can do free play afterwards.
Yeah. It probably depends on the people, that are there too. Like even the guys that have these really, really strong decks, I've played against them and they're so chill about it, even though they have these really competitive decks, so it really just depends on the people there. And the group at our league that we go to has also been so welcoming to my son, which is really nice. They'll chat with him and he's done some card trading on his own where he's like, Mom, can I trade this card? And he'll go over and talk to the guys and be like, hey, we're looking for that. And he'll try to do some trades on his own. And one of the guys helped him with his deck and they had all the cards laid out on the table. The guy was helping him with strategizing, how to tweak his deck to make it better. So that's been really awesome seeing how the people there are so welcoming to having a kid in the space. So that's been really, really nice.
That's awesome. Other than your son and the other 10-year-old, are there any other kids in the league?
We've had some other kids come now and again, but those 2 are the only ones that have been there. Yeah, every week. So yeah.
Out of how many?
We have probably on average between 16 to 20 people every week. And so just a couple kids each week. And like I said, a real mix of players and a lot of women too, which is nice. And a lot of Disney fans. There's a lot of Disney fans.
Yeah, I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for anyone who plays a younger kid at League? And specifically, Erilyn asked, how do you deal with kids when they play a card wrong? Do you correct them or let them do their thing?
Yeah, I think that, some gentle correction is good for kids because you want them to learn the game and how to play. So I think it's totally okay to correct. And, if you guys, I think, have talked on the podcast about that before, or maybe in the Discord, people have talked about oh, remember that card? It's supposed to do blah, 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 or let me look at that card. Oh, I think it means this, and just doing it in a way that's not demeaning at all is totally fine with kids. I think you do need to be a little bit more patient, especially kids that might be reading the cards and a little slower with deciding what they want to play and everything. But also don't underestimate kids. You never know. Like I've heard some of the adults at our league be like, oh yeah, like I'm not going to take it easy on her anymore. Like she, like they're doing really good. So, just because they're kids, don't underestimate them. I think the other thing that I would say is, being a little bit maybe more mindful of the demeanor of if you're playing against a kid, like as adults, we can manage our feelings about how a game is going on our own, but kids like winning. And if they're losing, like that can be really like frustrating or just hard for them. And so trying to still find ways to make it a little fun, and like I said before, like engaging with them and little notes of encouragement or just being excited about the characters they're playing, like, oh, it's Simba. I love Simba, and just like that, like little bit more of engagement and interaction that can make it a little more fun. So that way, whether they win or lose, like that they still had a good time with whoever they're playing with.
Wow, this is going to sound like, I don't know, but like listening to you talk about kids and things, I'm just like, wow, maybe when my kids are 10 and 14, I'll have it together too.
I don't know as a parent if you ever really have it together, but you learn your kids, right? And there are some things that apply to all kids, but you learn your kids and what's good for them. So thank you. That's really nice of you to say. Actually, one of the hardest things that's been for my son to learn, I will say this, is both how to win and lose, like graciously. I even had to talk to him one time and be like, whoa, you need to like be like a humble like winner, and because he got real excited that he actually had a better record than me one week. And he's like, yeah, I beat you, Mom. And I don't know, the way he said it, I was like, I'm so excited that you did really well this week. But like, buddy, you gotta be a humble winner, like gracious winner. You can be excited, but without, lording it over other people. And same with losing, learning how to lose well for kids. Both those things, I think, are things that kids learn how to do. And so playing Lorcana, just like any other like sport or activity where you're going to win or lose a game, is just a good opportunity to help them how to win or lose with grace.
It really presents like a great learning opportunity for that even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially because multiple games kind of back to back, and it's just a really great opportunity to explore that, I think. Very cool.
Yeah.
Kind of going off of one thing you just said, we actually had a question from BF Doxy. Have you seen any adults underestimate kids and get trounced by them?
Yes, that has happened. I think that there's been some that my son has surprised some other players in a few games for sure. And even like I mentioned, the 10-year-old at our league, I've overheard some of the other adults being like, yeah, she came in with all her evasive characters and just killed me that game. And I was totally unexpecting it. So, I think especially if kids are coming to league and playing regularly, like I said, their kids are smart. They'll figure this game out and they will be some good competition for anyone for sure.
Awesome. I'm just curious, like your card pool, do you guys share, or do you kind of have your own kind of thing?
He wishes he had his own. He's like, these are my cards, Mom. I'm like, no, those are the ones I'm letting you use for your deck. So we just have a pool. But I'll probably get him some of his own cards that can just really be his, once there's more cards out there.
We're all just waiting for that.
Yeah. So we're just sharing all the collection of cards that we have to make decks. So like he plays Amber and Amethyst is what he's doing. And And then I made a deck for my daughter to use. And so right now she's using Ruby and Sapphire together, and I'm using Emerald and Steel. And so we each have, because we don't have like a huge amount of cards, that way there's no overlap, in the inks that we're using. And then we can all play. So yeah.
That's really cool.
Nice.
He loves all the Stitch cards. That's like his favorite. And so he's like trying to collect and get all the Stitch, with Amber, they're all in there. So he's very excited about the Stitch cards. He wants those to be his. And he pulled 2 Carefree Surfer Stitch in our packs. And he was like over the moon. He was very excited. Like he's interested, I think, in collecting too, besides just playing,
That's awesome. How fun. I love it.
It's just all around. I think they've done, if their goal was to get families together to play this game and, collect and play and whatever, Lorcana, they succeeded for sure, from my point of view. It's just so fun. And to have the kids be a part of it, and we can do it together, and it's something that's not us staring at a computer screen or a phone screen or whatever, and that we're interacting together. I'm just having a lot of fun.
That's so awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. Do you have any other thoughts on kids and Lorcana that you would like to share?
No, I don't think so. I just, if there's anyone who's like, I guess on the edge of thinking like, oh, should we play this with our kids or take them to league or whatever, is like, just give your kids the opportunity to try it out. Ask them if they want to go to the league, or just play one game and see if they're interested. And if not, that's okay too. But I've seen so many people online, like not so much as much moms, but a lot of dads that play a lot of TCGs that are just like, this is so exciting. This thing that I love myself, that now I have a game that my kid can play with me. And it's just really cool, like seeing and hearing people and parents like talking about sharing something like this with their kids. So just invite your kids into it and see what happens. It's Disney magic.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
The best advice for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have some other questions we can do while we have you here.
A couple fun ones. You can join us.
I love fun questions.
Okay, the first one is from Erilyn, and she asks, what's your favorite card that you wish you could play but don't? Because it's either not a good card or not in your ink or whatever. Rebekah, if you want to start. No pressure.
I know.
I almost started talking because my name is also Rebekah.
You're Becky today.
You're Becky, yes. Do you usually go by Becky most of the time, or sometimes Rebekah, or both?
Yeah, well, this is not interesting, but I'm going to share it anyway. So my parents call me Becca. They've always called me Becca, but Katie, since I was born, has called me Becky because she could say that easier. And so that somehow stuck. And so my parents call me Becca. Everyone else calls me Becky, and I'm Rebekah professionally, or if I'm in trouble.
Or if you're in trouble.
Yeah.
That's great.
Anyway, go ahead, Rebekah.
Anyway, okay, so cards that I don't play, like I said, my son plays the Amber Amethyst deck, so he has the Lilos, and I love Lilo, and I wish that I could just like throw down a Lilo and throw down a Simba bodyguard. That would be so fun, but it's not in my deck, so I can't. So that would be mine that I would pick.
The Make-A-Wish is so cute.
Oh, she is adorable.
I love it. What about you, Katie?
Yeah, mine is actually Mulan, Imperial Soldier, because Mulan's like my favorite character. But like there's just like so much competition in the 5 slot. I just always end up taking her out.
That's fair. So mine is the Belle Inventive Engineer. I think she is so cute. I love the art on that. I don't play it though because with her tinker ability, there's just better 3s, and I don't do a lot of items, so there's just really no need for me to have her. But she is such a little cutie pie, and I love her little steampunk aesthetic. It's so cute.
I love it. The steampunk is cool. I'm like all for the steampunk cards. They're very cool.
Yeah, I love them. I was trying to get Katie and her husband and my husband to agree to do steampunk Disney Lorcana cosplay with me. You know, we'd have the
Yes.
Belle, we'd have Maurice, we'd have Detective Mickey, we'd have Gaston from the new Rise of the Floodborn. I was like all for it. I'm like, come on, guys, let's get it. But nobody would agree to do it.
No one said it. Okay.
Your husband agreed.
Yeah, well, I bullied my husband into it. It's fine.
It's fine.
Rebekah, do you have interest in cosplay? I'm just curious.
I have done like some Disney bounding stuff, like when I go to Disneyland, like sometimes, but nothing like cosplay really. But you know, one of these days that would be fun. I feel like if anything was going to get me to cosplay, it might be Lorcana.
Right? Yes, very tempting. RVP Matt123 asks, is there a character in the first chapter with only 1 or 2 cards that you would like to see get more representation in Rise of the Floodborn? Rebekah?
I went first last time.
I was just going to say, we keep putting her on the spot.
Okay, Katie.
This one was really hard for me. I'm not going to lie to you. I couldn't like land on a character that I thought was underrepresented. I'm just going to go with like a movie, which is Winnie the Pooh, because it's like only Tigger, and I just like need to fill out the 100-Acre Woods. I'm so glad we've already like seen some spoilers in set 2.
Honey Wizard's coming.
I know.
Honey Wizard's coming. It's gonna be so good.
We're all ready for it.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Okay, I did have a character. I had a couple but I narrowed it down to Rapunzel. Because I just love Tangled and Rapunzel so much, and Flynn too, which we know he's getting some in the next. But I think the Rapunzel card, not the healing one, which like I can't get a hold of.
Same.
Her other Rapunzel card, though, I'm like meh about. Like I never put it in my I've taken it out, and I'm like I need some better Rapunzels here, you know. So Rapunzel would be fun to see.
That's legitimate for sure. I don't have a good answer for this, honestly. I mean, I've mentioned before that they keep giving us Robin Hoods, but nobody else from that series. And that's like such a fun movie for me. I always really enjoyed that as a kid. But also like I love that Mickey Mouse Brave Little Tailor is like the card for the set, you know? And I love that it's like kind of a deep cut, and I really am excited to see what Rise of the Floodborn's like special card is going to be. And I hope it's also a deep cut. I want more deep cuts. I don't think that's an answer, but that's what I want.
All right. Here is one from our friend Dan from the Forbidden Mountain. He asks, if you could choose any card from Chapter 1 to be made into an enchanted, which would you choose and why? Becky, will make you go first.
I'm going to think about it, but if Rebekah has an answer, she should go.
Okay, I do have an answer because this one actually was easy for me because I was like, yes, Ariel, Spectacular Singer.
That's mine. Rebekah.
Great minds think alike. Right? I'm just like imagining the alternative art on that card could be so beautiful. And I just love Ariel. Like Little Mermaid's my favorite. And yeah, and that's just such a great card too, the singer. So that's like was immediately like, yes, Spectacular Singer.
I love that card too. And it's like so like stunning, even just the regular. I like want to see the enchanted.
Yes.
I would love to see an Ursula. I know, another Little Mermaid. I'm such an Ursula fan. And I think the art on that card's really fun. And I would love to see an enchanted. That'd be so cool.
She does have some cool art on her card. That would be cool enchanted.
Yeah, probably my favorite card.
I'm all for like more Little Mermaid because I just love that movie so much.
It's a good answer. I will say when I read this question, my first thought was like I channeled Jared from Citizens of Lorcana and was like flounder. And then I was like so tickled by the idea of having an enchanted flounder. I still think that might be the best answer.
Okay, that would be the cutest.
Yeah, it was so cute. That would be a lot of fun. I like that. Or if like all the enchanteds were, you know, like iconic characters and stuff like that. And then you just have like LeFou enchanted. Like that'd be so good. Yeah.
Funny.
Well, Rebekah, it was so good of you to come and talk to us today. We're so excited to get to have you. Before you go, please plug your stuff. Tell everyone where to find you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me on. It was so fun to chat with you guys. And you can find me on Instagram. It's lorcana.illuminary. And I share a lot of reels and posts that's really geared towards families, kids, new players, Disney fans. So join me over there for lots of fun. And I love sharing like in my stories, like music and polls and Disney character stuff. So I have fun over there. So come on over.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. It was
Thanks so much for having me. Yeah, you guys are the best. I love your guys' podcast. And like I said at the beginning, your guys' Discord community and just your whole vibe. I love Lorcana. The name, I'm a fan of the name.
I was just going to talk about on our podcast how like nobody likes it.
It's practically perfect in every way.
Oh, look at that. I love it. You're so sweet.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank
Okay,
you.
we'll see you on Discord.
See you on Discord.
What a great and insightful discussion we had with Rebekah.
Love Rebekah.
She's great.
Mhm.
She's such a sweetheart. Who is our featured creator this week?
Our featured creator is the Emerald Illumineer. The Emerald Illumineer is a fantastic blog-style website that includes information on strategy, inks, cards, especially for all things Emerald, and most importantly, in my opinion, lore. There is a lot of good information about Lorcana lore contained on this site, so you should definitely check it out. And this is another account that is really great to follow on Twitter.
So be sure to check out the Emerald Illumineer on Twitter and on the Emerald Illumineer homepage.
So next week, I'm going to be in London. So Becky, tell the people what they have in store next week.
So I think, not confident, but right now the plan is for me to have a very special Becky-sode featuring me. I know, so exciting. The people's hero. And my friend Toonie, who is also a little Lorcana friend of the show and in the Discord. And I mean, we're both neurodivergent and nobody's here to keep a leash on us. So I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea like if we'll even make anything suitable. I don't know. We'll see what happens. No guarantees on anything.
And in 2 weeks, I will be issuing corrections for everything.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's probably for the best. I'm going to try to get Toonie to talk about some feelings because she's really good with that.
She is so insightful. Everything she says is like gold.
So good. I'm going to see if she has any thoughts on what to include. But honestly, I just want her to like talk about feelings and like handling situations and just being so good. But anyway.
One last thing before we leave. If you have been enjoying the podcast and you want to do us a favor, please go and give us a 5-star rating wherever you listen to your podcast, especially if it's Spotify. Because somebody did give us a 1-star rating on Spotify. And because not many people do ratings, that really, really brings down our average. So I assume it was not for our Lorcana take because we've gotten a lot of positive feedback about that. So
we've said enough controversial stuff that it could be anything. There's so many people who would love to give us a 1-star. And you know what? That's fine. We're not begging for 5s, Katie. What are you kidding?
You want me to cut that? We're not begging. I'm just telling you. I think people are giving us 1 star. So if you want to like go in and even that out, that'd be cool.
Yeah, like that'd be fine. Okay. Yeah. You know, like if you have nothing better to do, just do it.
Yeah, like if you're totally bored and you're like Spotify falls open on your phone.
And happens to get a little left Lorcana and you've listened to us on that before. You can just hit a little boop boop on it. I've actually never listened to our podcast on Spotify, so I can't rate it.
Oh yeah, Spotify actually makes you listen to at least 2 episodes before they'll let you rate. So they got to know us before they gave us a 1
They decided
star.
that we were trash. You know what? I'll take it. I get it. I get it. So it's all good. Okay. Well, it was great for you guys to hang out today. Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram, even though we really don't do anything on there. YouTube, if you want to watch this again, but on YouTube, and by watch it, I mean listen to it. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Give us 5 stars on Spotify, or don't. It's fine. No pressure. And we also have a Discord, and people say nice things about it. So if you want to pop in and see what's going on, that'd be great. We'd love to have you.
Until next time, remember to live, laugh, and lore.